Starts with much bravado. Don't you know? You don't have to lay down your only life. I need to hear tomorrow. Is martyrdom the only philosophy? I can set you free from all that seems to bind. Years ago, you threw the key into the darkest nights, then hit the light to follow.
Welcome, and thank you for sitting with us again under the aNvKai tree. I'm your host, Sykes, and I'm here with
GypjaQ on the attack.
And we're here with our second episode of the season in our new Decolonize series. And tonight is Decolonize Your Entertainment. And we're going to talk about struggles that artists and content creators struggle in this online digital space. All through tonight, we're going to be taking some of your questions, and we're going to have a new special segment that you can get only on our Patreon that we'll be telling you about a little bit later. So let's get into it for tonight. You know, as always, we two broke girls, so
Give me all your money, and I will take you higher. Give me all your money right now.
yes, please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/aNvKai tree. And also you can support us directly on our podcast at anchor.fm/aNvKai/support, where you can become a regular supporter and patron of our podcast. If you check out our Patreon, we have 4 different tiers. You can be a leaf, you can be a trunk member, you can be a branch member, and you can be a root member, where you get merch. That's only $10 a month. You get merch, exclusive content, special shout outs, the whole 9. So make sure you check out our Patreon. And let's get into our first segment of the night. And that is the lease segment. We're going to touch on some things lightly and answer a few questions about our topic for tonight. And we're going to get straight into it. Oh, as always, how could I forget? Make sure you share this post. Shares go very far. Tell your friends, tell your family. Make sure you like and love this post. Loves go super far. We love loves over here. Mm-hmm. And make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you know anytime we post a new video on this channel.
Let us know our videos touch the heart.
The heart. So in the leaf for tonight, I forgot what I was doing for one hot second. We're talking about industry barriers and digital barriers. So our first question is, and I guess you can answer this and I'll answer it after you. What's one of the biggest obstacles you face sharing your content or art in an online space?
The difficulty itself has made me kind of separate art from content to some degree. In that I feel like to some degree, like my personal content, as in like stuff that, you know, sometimes gets shared here, stuff that goes on my stories, you know, my random lives, or like even like posts about, you know, revolution or anything I might have to say feels like content, and then like my art feels like art somewhat differently. Not that it's not content, but like it feels like a different thing, right?
Okay.
And then again, the issue being, I feel like because for the most part, what I have to say is funny or can be educational or can sometimes get misconstrued as shade, or sometimes it's shade. You know, I feel like that gets a lot more traction than my art, which y'all just about equally. For the most part, when there's something like going on, y'all get blast about that about as much as I, have shit to talk. But I feel like in that I've learned my obstacle, which is that there is this need, which is understandable. This need to laugh before there's this need to like consume art.
Okay, yeah,
right?
I totally get that.
Like I feel like the existence as an artist, anyway, the existence of the Ice JJ Fishes of the world, really put a damper on the thing, and myself and many artists that I completely would love to see, get somewhere are left to, kind of take a back burner to somebody that y'all are laughing at, but is coining down because y'all are laughing at them, and industries are taking them seriously. Like again, this nigga was signed to Interscope. You know what I'm saying? Like
I feel
happened.
like mess goes far, and we talked about this
Right.
like before in like our personal conversations. Like people like mess goes viral, especially like I feel like the American internet algorithm support mess, and other than like. And I know I'm gonna probably sound elitist as fuck, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Sort of thought provoking and community building content doesn't move or get the traction that mess and nonsense does. And it's very, very, very clear. The fact that like someone the likes of an Andrew Caldwell
right.
still has
maintains
traffic and like brought like bandwidth and all this, and is still relevant in like the internet zeitgeist, is proof positive that mess goes a lot farther than anything of substance. And I'm not saying that we have the most substantial content on the face of the earth. There's people that we look up to and are inspired by that have been doing this thing way longer than us and don't get half the content traction that we get. And I feel like we get more traction because we sort of,
we had a little mess.
We push into the mess a little bit because y'all like the mess.
And I mean, at the end of the day, the truth is going to bring up mess. You know what I'm saying? So in being like truth tellers, the mess is going to come by itself, and we won't shy away from that mess. We'll lean into it. Go see it. So yeah, no, I'm not sure that in this society we can actually effectively do that, because like literally most of the things that make something accessible makes things accessible to things outside of like the people that the work is for. Yeah, like I think it's like for the most part right now, when people say accessible, they mean either dumb it down, water it down in general.
Well, when I say accessible, I'm saying have it so as many people as possible can reach and touch and consume it.
Which I reiterate my point. For the most part, like that means dumb it down or whiten it up or water it down. Because it seems like people can't handle right now. It seems like people can't handle intensity. People can't handle complexity, right? And people can't handle anything that's too not white. That doesn't, or if it's not too not white, that doesn't seem to care much about how whiteness perceives whatever the thing is. So no, unfortunately, I don't think so. I think we need to kind of drop the accessibility thing. Like if you don't get it, you don't get it. And if somebody can help you get it, ask somebody. Like build community via the fact that
Well, what about accessibility for people like with disabilities? Like
like I said, like I feel like subtitles should be for the hearing impaired, not necessarily for someone who doesn't know a language that's spoken in a movie.
So if you're gonna have subtitles in a Spanish film, like those subtitles need to be in Spanish. And if you don't speak Spanish,
do your best. Have a human interaction, because you should be able to figure out how to interact with people who don't speak your language and still gather a point enough to help them, enough to be helped by them.
And use those opportunities when you don't understand to actually ask questions and build community.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I'm watching this. I only got the gist of it because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
Let me have a conversation with some of the Spanish-speaking people in the room. Maybe I'll like learn something like I wouldn't have even gathered had I been able
been
to
translating it, yeah. Because then there's things lost in translation, right? So like, yeah.
I do feel like there is a way. I don't feel like that way can be done successfully online. Only because of the way, like, I know that, like, algorithms work. They're programmed by human beings. Human beings have biases. A lot of tech developers currently are white, the vast majority. And those who aren't really have to yield to the majority in the industry because they're the ones writing the checks.
Right.
So even if they feel as we do, which they probably do, I can't, like, for some, well, never mind. I was about to say I don't see how they couldn't, but that colonized mind should be powerful sometimes. Yeah. So let me not even say that. But I do feel that it can happen grassroots, but that I feel like, I don't know, maybe because I'm disconnected to the groundwork and we've been working in an online space for like so long that like the boots on the ground stuff does feel a little far away from me because it's been so long since like I've done it. But I also feel like there's not as much of it anymore. Like
we're not seeing it. Yeah,
see it either.
If there was boots on the ground, we'd see boots on the ground. So I feel you.
To do these efforts. And I also feel like that's a lot due to a large part that the younger generation doesn't know how to do that. And that we've failed them in that sense of making sure like that still happens. Not completely our fault.
Yeah. And I feel like just like all the generations just haven't given them the motivation to do it. You know, like again, I'm not going to say it this episode, but any opportunity we were given to actually turn something around.
Okay. Let's move into our next segment. The trunk. So the trunk is where we unpack some things in pop culture. Today we have a video from The Root that is about, actually, we're going to be talking about digital blackface. Blackfishing. There's so many other terms. Brown fishing. Ariana Grande and the Infinity Stones of Races. But The Root has a really cool video about that. So we're going to check this out together. And then we're going to unpack it and get our, I'm going to get your thoughts on it. And we'll see where it goes. Let's check this out.
If Miss Cornica does get too close, you know what I'm going to do? Here, hold my hot Cheetos.
Now, what in the white supremacy is this?
Today's baggage, digital blackface.
This is digital blackface.
It's a problematic phenomena that you no doubt have seen and perhaps have even been guilty of. It's when non-Black people attempt to recreate Blackness online. The term was popularized by Professor Laura Michelle Jackson in a Teen Vogue op-ed she wrote in 2017. She was pretty much calling out the excessive use of Black GIFs and memes to express extreme emotion. So if a white person uses this GIF to show excitement or this GIF to show disappointment, they're guilty of digital blackface. Before we get any deeper into the cyber world, here's a crash course on blackface in real life. Blackface first emerged in the United States around the 1830s. White performance artists would darken their skin by using burnt cork and replicate stereotypically Black behaviors. Blackface was carried into modern times, popping up in movies and on television. And let's not forget the racists who wear blackface for Halloween. Fast forward to the information age, and digital blackface is all over the internet. But while you might have seen digital blackface via text on Facebook or Twitter, there's something particularly troubling about digital blackface on TikTok. With nearly half of its global users under 34, and the platform's ability to combine photo, video, and effects, the bigotry hits different.
So digital black, she grew out of actual blackface, which was a practice that was happening in theaters and entertainment in the mid 1800s, early 1900s. It's grown over the years into something more perverse and something more you see across TikTok, you see across Twitter, you see across Instagram, where you have young white kids taking on what they assume to be Black identity, whether it's slang, whether it's dress, whether it's music, and they're perverting it and they're twisting it in their own sort of unique ways.
Jason Parham is a senior writer at Wired magazine covering pop culture. He did a deep dive into the world of TikTok, a platform Parham says is custom made for digital blackface.
TikTok, enables its creators with this suite of editing tools that, a director might use to shoot an actual feature film. And so it's different in the sense that creators can now embody almost these sort of expressions and what they assume is Black identity.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And you kind of musty, are not allowed to shower either. Like, girl, this is not okay.
They can sort of pervert it and make it their own in these really fascinating, interesting ways that they couldn't before. And it's really specific to TikTok because TikTok's community sort of engenders this idea of competition and virality. And so one person starts to do it and another person starts to do it, and then it just balloons into this huge thing where it's like, oh, everybody's doing it, but it's not okay in that sense.
As of August 2020, the app had about 100 million active monthly US. Parham says with numbers so large, it's no surprise that the content coming from creators mirrors the surrounding world, including its janky ideologies, blemishes, and all. Like the George Floyd challenge that captured users reenacting Floyd's death by putting a knee on another human's neck.
And in America, we are specifically sort of bound by race and racism, right? It's the sort of American problem that we're never going to be able to get rid of. And so I think TikTok sort of mirrors that directly. TikTok is built on appropriation. TikTok is built on mimicking something that somebody else already did or something that already exists. And I think the sort of problem with digital blackface is that it comes into the equation where we're taking Black identity and Black cultural expression from its original context and we're twisting it and we're estranging it so much to the point of mockery, so much to the point of laughter for people who simply just want to go viral, people who simply want fame and clout.
Parham points to 3 egregious instances of digital blackface that he's consistently seen across the platform. First up, the hot Cheeto girl.
You want some? Did you pay it all for them? You got any hot Cheetos?
This projection of this sort of low-income Black or
I think we can
Latina
wrap it up
youth
here. I'm gonna
who
put a
maybe,
link in the description to this
lives in a bad
video.
neighborhood and comes up in a bad way, but she
So y'all
has this sort of swagger
definitely check
about
out the
her. And so you
put the link to this video down in the description so you guys can check that out. Luego. There was so much in left to talk about in that video, and I just want to get to it before we take up too much time. Just watching the video,
some shit, yeah.
And just thinking about what are ways that we can improve digital spaces for content creators of color. I don't even know if there's anything we can do about it because white people gonna do what they gonna do. They appropriation is their culture. So I'm just if y'all not ready for revolution, let them appropriate in peace. If you're not gonna do nothing, if you're not
gonna leave, let them cheat.
Let them cheat.
I don't understand.
Like Evelyn Braxton said.
I don't.
Let your man cheat on your ass in peace. Okay? Stop bothering him, harboring on it. Stop asking about these bitches. Not unless you finna do something.
Understand. And him saying that was important for me because I didn't about TikTok being built off appropriation because I kind of I knew that but didn't have language for that or didn't know how to bring it up because I'm not gonna blame an app for my lack of success on the app, right? But it's good to know because I'm just not good at that shit. Like, I will comment on something that you might have said, and yeah, there might be some stitches where somebody said something wild, and I was like, shit is wild, right? But nonetheless, for the most part, I just fucking like say what I need to say on any of these posts. I'm not doing anything that y'all are doing. I haven't even done one of those hands on my knees saying that with the makeup and I haven't even done one of those, and I do makeup all the time. Like, it's not something that interests me. So that's interesting to know. What he said about and I remember the George Floyd challenge. I had not yet been on TikTok when that was going on, and in fact, it kept me off of TikTok a little bit longer than I otherwise would have, because there were really funny shit happening on TikTok that I was forced to engage with. But yeah, like it's just like literally the whole digital blackface thing, and in trying to make safer spaces for content creators online. It's like when, like you said, whites going white, when they literally cannot respect the murder of one of our people. How do y'all expect them to give a fuck about your culture? How do you expect them to give a fuck about the sacredness and Tutneys or whatever else black people tried to do on fucking TikTok and try to gatekeep at the same time? Like, create your own app and literally have people call black people racist by not allowing any white people on, by having a very, very fucking strict verification process and all of that, and keep the culture within the culture, or like leave it alone.
Yeah.
I think was maybe like right before you started talking about it.
Yeah, like Amanda Seales tried to do that with Smart Black and Funny Society online, and it was a paid subscription service. So y'all wasn't trying to fuck with it because like y'all feel like, oh, I heard she's hard to work with, and that's why the people from Insecure don't fuck with her. Da da da. But she's, more often than not, she says some like very poignant shit to our political climate and has some like good ideas. And that was a great idea that like nobody really got behind to make it the thing that it needed to be.
Which I don't understand what reformists want. Like, these conversations are difficult for me to have, in that like I can't really have them in fullness because I'm not a reformist, right? So it's like to think, oh, how do we make these spaces more, comfortable essentially for people of color? It's like, that's not what we need, actually. What we need is to just fucking not do. But okay, if we're going to have the conversation, do I have ideas? Sure. So, yes, that was perfect. Nobody jumped on it because Amanda Seales, and I'll go off a little bit about this on the sound off. One thing I don't like about Amanda Seales is that she's a black woman with natural hair and tries her best to be as unambiguously black as possible in her light skin, and is extremely direct with you hoes. And y'all see black directness and frankness as aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
especially coming out of a light-skinned woman who's supposed to be soft and demure and submissive and whatever y'all cishet niggas want today. I don't know, whatever Kevin Samuels told y'all was a high-value woman. I forget. Right. But it's so hard to keep track.
What you niggas will believe and which delusions y'all will invite. But yeah.
Until then, like, until we're ready to, like, actually say, like, okay, we're going to protect ourselves and do it for ourselves and, like, literally, like, F them.
Right.
Nothing can come, like, we just have to, play by the rules that are on the board.
Continue doing what we're doing like we doing.
And only thing now is, like, Black people are sharing so much things that are part of the culture, and it's getting consumed up by white people at such a fast rate that we got to come out with new shit like every 2-3 weeks. Like, remember, a new dance used to come out every 6 months, a year. Now it's a new dance like every 3 weeks.
But I'm like, why do y'all even care? Like, again, like, y'all, like, why do y'all care? Like, y'all want to be included, so, like, include them. So what? The white people is using the new slang. So what? They trying a new dance. Why we killing ourselves to come up with new shit when we know it's going to be consumed? Like, again, like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Y'all don't see how ridiculous? Oh, fuck. Damn, we got to drop that and come up with some new shit so that y'all could be as anti-white as you'll allow yourself to be, or as anti-white as you can be within the confines of the cage. Like, Y'all sound stupid. That sounds stupid. Sorry. Love you to death, but that sounds fucking stupid. Really think about it. It's dumb. Complaining about having to fucking do something and still doing it. Dumb. Dumb. And especially don't have to do it. Dumb. Really dumb. That one, dumb. Stop coming up with shit, niggas. And if we're gonna come up with something, it needs to be so under wraps. If y'all want to gatekeep it, it needs to be so under wraps. I'm talking about literally your white bestie don't know. That nigga you think is an ally don't know. That white person that grew up in the projects don't know what the fuck is up. Literally, like y'all don't have the stones. Y'all don't have what it takes to do that. So y'all complain to us about what we lack in organization. Oh, like, well, we don't have the organization. Nigga, it takes a whisper. It takes, that's the new hot phrase. Literally, if you see a white person speak standard English.
Don't say nothing. Shh, don't tell no.
Code switch, nigga.
It needs to be as secret as the back bayou juke joint. People who know where it is, and that's all they need to know.
Y'all did so much fucking up because remember when moonshine was just that backdoor juke joint and how that shit was connected to moonshine. Mad crackers got rich off of your moonshine recipes because you thought if you shared the recipe they would share the wealth. Stop it. We always knew that the people would get high and drunk no matter what the government said. We knew that. So we would get drunk and high no matter what the fucking government said. White people were like, what are y'all doing? We're like, nigga, drinking. The fuck? Like, I don't need no distillery to do that shit for me. I know how A plus B equals C. And they was like, oh, teach me. And you was like, bet, cracker. No, get the fuck off my property, my nigga. Like, what? No. Well, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, sir. That would require some math that I don't know how to really explain here, sir. I'm afraid you're going to have to leave, sir. So, boom. No, there's no way. Sorry, not if it feels nihilist, then it's just y'all like really like the reformism is what's stopping y'all from even doing the things that y'all want to do as reformists. Seriously.
Okay, let's get into our next segment. The Root is the part of the show where we do our final deep dive of the night, and our concept for The Root tonight is the revolution will not be televised, but it'll definitely be online. And you would kind of get into this. That's why I wanted to like move and just into this topic in particular of what would a digital revolution look like.
It would look like silence. It would look like radio silence, my nigga. It would look like Googling maybe what you wanted to Google, quite literally using the internet to educate yourself on whatever it is that you felt like you needed to educate yourself on, and then doing nothing. Posting nothing, saying nothing, having nothing to share, having no content to create, no dances to do. And yeah, that would still exist on the internet. Literally, articles would be written about it. There would be somebody out here from some news person or some newscast, right. Fox Soul will be at somebody's house like, what's going on? And your ass hopefully would be sitting there like this. And then they'd be like, well, back to you, John. And that's that. And that will still appear online. So yeah, it will absolutely be online. Won't be televised, but will be online. And y'all really gonna have to learn how to just do nothing and be okay with it. Like, be okay. Like, somebody said rest is one of the most revolutionary acts, and y'all didn't even really hear them. I don't even know if that person heard themselves. Like, it is. It quite literally is. It's the revolutionary act that we need to be doing. Like, resting, sitting the fuck down.
Like, if you're really not interested in, like, the fight of it all, and that's not your thing, sit your ass down and convince those around you to do the same. But, as far as like a digital landscape, this is a topic I envision with guests, and maybe get some more thoughts on it. But like in this current landscape, access to the internet is still such a privileged thing to have, and to like think about 80% of the planet still lives the way we did 1,000 years ago because it was right, it works. Connect to the Earth planet, like the internet is like not a real thing.
Right.
Like the connection of human consciousness and the connection to the planet is a network within itself. So, even absent of that, I feel like there are things that we would have of our use and our disposal had like if we still like lived that way, or even got to evolve that into a way that's more connected than it is like now, which is basically like consumed, destructive, and not like replenishing anything.
Right.
Really, like, and that's not human nature. That's white nature. That's colonial nature and ambition of itself. So like if you're thinking about a digital revolution, like it has to mirror the revolution on the ground. Like that's the only revolution like I feel like there can be.
Like if you're not trying to get the internet to everybody, then what are you even doing? Kind of situation.
Right.
I feel you. I feel that. Yeah. It's just like doing the groundwork. If you're not trying to at the very least feed everybody, then what the fuck, like what are you doing? You know, like people, you know, I've had to redefine myself, like,
and not in the colonial sense of everybody needs internet and for like using that as like a manifest destiny shit to get and force your way upon people, but like making it available. Like if there are people from like those villages and tribes and nations that are like, hey, like, so we heard you got this thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, let's just you got some of the thing here, you got some of the thing,
and even
like,
even on a local level, like y'all right? Even on a local level, like
the family, like that
there are
live in the
families across the street, yeah, like you know what I'm saying, who don't have internet. Literally, we all know the places that exist in which having internet is quite instrumental.
Like even in like the rural Midwest in the U.S., they don't have like ready like broadband.
Right. The internet when I was out, right. The internet from upstate New York was horrible. Horrible. So like, and that's New York. It's still New York. It's not New York City, but goddamn it, it's New York. Like you would think being adjacent to the greatest city on earth would like get you some perks, and being in the same state would give you some like modernity, even in the rural areas. But no. Rural New York is lacking internet. So, yeah, get all these places decent internet. Like, oh, like do your best to not add towers where there not need to be towers, but like, nonetheless, like y'all doing all kinds of shit in the city to improve the internet without adding towers sometimes. So like, what the fuck?
Shit, give us that Japanese internet. What they doing over there?
Right. Just catch up to the Japanese timeline already. Stop acting like y'all don't have it. Y'all got it.
Nah, that's their war and imperialism money.
Right.
That ain't infrastructure money.
Yeah. So again, sorry to say, it's hard to have these conversations because when you're revolutionary minded, at the very least, and like are thinking like, okay, what does it take to actually create true effective change? The answer doesn't look as pretty as some people want it to look. It doesn't look as passive as people want it to look. And people don't realize how aggressive sitting your ass down is. And I think maybe you do realize, oh shit, that's a big ass, that's humongous. Yeah, it is humongous. It is. But what you're asking for literally as a reformist is humongous in a system that requires you be disenfranchised in order to exist in the first place. So...
That's a word. I love that, actually. And with that said, that actually makes me feel really good. Let's get to y'all questions of the night. And hello. It's our branches segment. And this is where we answer questions from you, the viewer. We take questions on Instagram, so make sure that oh shit. at aNvKai Tree. So you can answer like the weekly question posts that we put out. And we'll highlight you here on the branches segment. So the question that we asked the audience tonight was that question we asked in the beginning, which was, what is one of the biggest obstacles you face sharing your art/content online? And David said, revealing too much in my music, especially regarding sex. I feel that.
I'm interested.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Do you?
I do.
In what way?
Because like some of my music is coming out very like sexual, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, is this like, is it like is it coming out? And I'm like, it feels good to be able to like, I guess because of you, like I'm more open up to like discussing it, and like I've never really written about it before, and I'm like,
I mean, I think of your remix to The Worst, and
oh, that was sexual? Was it?
There was definitely some stuff in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't think it feels weird to me. So I get that.
I wonder if it's in that.
It's being it's a kind of for me. It's a vulnerability thing. Like it's one of those spaces that's been just like what happens in my bedroom has been just for me, and like now being more open to sharing that with people is like.
I find it interesting, even to take the question in that way. I didn't think of the question in that way, like, what's a thing stopping you from posting or like stopping you from sharing it in the first place. And I would wonder. I'm interested to know if they meant it in that way or if they meant it in like just the fact that like having revealingness online is dangerous in that like the algorithm will fuck you up for like cursing, smoking weed, being nude, talking sex, talking revolution. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you know me, I say continue. I say busted wide open.
I'm gassy, y'all, tonight. Forgive me.
We had Taco Bell, y'all.
Yeah.
I say busted wide open. And
busted wide.
You know what? Like, David, we gonna talk. I got ideas, and it might make it to the Patreon. It might not. This might be real private for David, but we gonna talk because there's some things. So there's some ideas. If you're talking algorithmically, there's some ideas that I have for you. So let's talk.
And our second answer again. So our question was. What is one of the biggest obstacles that you face in sharing your art/content in an online?
A friend of mine said that we got to stop claiming imposter syndrome, and I get that. So I've been trying my best to not. So I get like the point of it and what that work is for. But I feel like you have to at least name it first. Like you can't just let it like live, you know. Holy crap! Like I completely feel that, Marcus. Like people say things and then don't follow through. People don't say things that they actually feel. Like some people will love your shit and say nothing at all. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you'll get the people that again love your shit, say all kinds of things and don't follow through with what it is that they said that they would, you know, even attempt to do for you or like have that lunch that you're supposed to have or whatever have you, you know. And so I feel like to some degree, like imposter syndrome is not something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like sometimes we like take personal responsibility for it. Like, I have to get rid of my imposter syndrome. It's like for sure, but you didn't create that on your own, you know, like for the most part, like you're not like wildly successful. Like you said, is you are lacking space and opportunity, right? So it's not like you're saying this while winning all the Tonys and winning all the Grammys and EGOTing, you know what I'm saying? Like out here, you're not saying that, you know what I'm saying, having put a workout and coining millions sitting down subsequently, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not like, you're not coming from a place of, you know, privilege and being like, oh yeah, like, but you know, I still be feeling like I suck sometimes. It's like, no, like when people are not buying into your shit, it's gonna feel like you suck. So I feel that. I hope for more space and opportunity, especially if this is the markets I think it is.
It is.
You're quite amazing at everything that you do. So I've been excited to see any work that has been happening recently go down for you and all of the work that you've been a part of. Please let that continue because deserving. OD.
Yes.
OD. One of our best. And we have to really be uplifting our best for real because holy crap, we don't get to see them too often.
Wordy. The living greats of our time, and then when niggas always be like, "Oh, after they were dead, it was genius." Like, fuck, stop doing that. Stop
Please.
it. Stop it. No, I wouldn't now. Give me my flowers.
Okay.
Now.
For real.
And you know what? That's all we got for you tonight. If you want to give us our flowers, make sure you check us out and make sure you follow us on YouTube. Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/aNvKai Tree. Follow us on Facebook. Everything is at aNvKai Tree, our Instagram. And we're also available wherever podcasts are streaming. I'm Sykes.
This is GypjaQ on the attack.
And thank you for listening to the aNvKai Tree.
Brow. I know. Yes, I was not saying the
And
Yo!